Start with obviously some of the biggest
By the
news.
way, off the Jonathan Taylor news real quickly. Deion Jackson, 54% available in Yahoo leagues. Go pick him up. Stop watching this right now.
Sleepy leagues.
Pause it. We'll still be here. Please go pick him up and start him this week. All right.
Michael Thomas to undergo toe surgery, unlikely to return this season. Michael Thomas, the story with him for years now, guys, has been the injuries, and I think that this isn't shocking to anybody, unfortunately, for Michael Thomas, but I think the question kind of pivots to, besides Cris Olave, is there any pass catcher on this team right now that you're adding to your roster?
No, I mean, I know, look, I want to see Jarvis Landry back out there. Like, we haven't seen Jarvis Landry, right? He's played only 4 games this year. He hasn't played since week 4. So maybe if Landry gets out there and is healthy again, we could see that, but until we see Landry actually active, I can't imagine, picking up him. It feels like, after Olave, you're going to see some Marquez Callaway and some Rashid Shaheed and some Traquan Smith. Taysom Hill will continue to be annoying, getting touches in a variety of different ways as well. You've got the tight ends in Juwan Johnson and Adam Trotman in that order. But it feels like fantasy-wise, you're starting Olave, you're starting Kamara, and you're just sort of like, I don't love this as well. By the way, Michael Thomas, as great a player as as great a player as he is, and as fantasy productive as he was for so long, he's now missed 31 of the Saints' last 41 games. It feels like
he looked good at the start of the year.
He was great.
Won them the game against Atlanta, but he looks, it's trending in the wrong direction there. Clearly,
feels like this is the beginning of the end.
Yep. Jarvis Landry was 7 for 114 in that opening game against Atlanta, so he's the guy that really has the upside. But I mean, his value is high and it's known. But I'd be trying to trade for Cris Olave because this is going to be his offense going forward. And I don't know to keep talking about the Panthers. If you had a Panthers fan in your league who is now thinks that DJ Moore is just going to skyrocket, and you could trade DJ Moore for Cris Olave, if that kind of trade is out there, you'd 100% do it. I think that Olave is going to be potentially a top 12 receiver the rest of the way.
Olave has been that since basically week 2. So I'm with you there, Jay, as well. The one other thing I might say here on the Saints is just know that this is the Monday night game. You know what I mean? So again, I just as we move over to the Baltimore Ravens here, Connor, and their side of the ball, this is the Monday night game. So just understand that we don't expect to see Jarvis Landry this week, but as you look at practice reports, the fact is that today's practice is really Thursday for them. Because of the Monday night game, they'll practice on a Saturday. Just something to keep in mind.
Yeah, and going back to that Rookie of the Year board, Olave might be the only guy with value left. You can kind of hedge the running back bets because he's going to get the ball a ton, as we know. Another big wide receiver injury, Rashad Bateman. He's been dealing with foot injuries the entire year. Now he's out for the season. This one, when I hear Liz Frank for a wide receiver, that's what ended Santonio Holmes' career. It's very significant long-term for Bateman, obviously even short-term now. Ravens pass catchers this season, Devin Duvernay, Demarcus Robinson. This feels like a team that they probably regret not adding somebody at the deadline. Now, Jay, what do you make of just this duo that they have to go forward with? And Mark Andrews also dealing with significant injuries.
Yeah, I don't understand how Baltimore and Green Bay didn't add a receiver at the deadline, firstly. But when you look at Baltimore's pass catchers, obviously Mark Andrews is the guy. Isaiah Likely, who we're going to talk about, he's the one you're most excited about picking up for this week. But of the receivers, if you have to choose one, I think it has to be Devin Duvernay, just because he's got the most established track record. Just think he's got more upside in terms of talent than Demarcus Robinson as well. He's younger. He was a 3rd-round pick 3 years ago. He's shown as well that he can add a little bit of a rushing element too. They do design some rushing plays for him. So I think Duvernay is the guy. But again, you're not super excited about Duvernay.
He ran around on 60% of his snaps last week. He played the most snaps of any Baltimore Ravens wide receiver. Again, sort of damning with faint praise, but I agree with you, Jay, as well. I will say that, Demarcus Robinson had a 24% target share last week without Rashad Bateman in there. He led all the wide receivers of the Ravens in receptions as well. And so, 6 for 64. I kind of like Demarcus Robinson. We saw him have moments in Kansas City where you're like, oh, there's something there. So, I picked him up in our show league. I'm decimated by buys. That our league is a 14-team league. But if you're in a situation like that where you're just like my entire bench is on a buy.
Yes.
Like I'm just looking for live bodies this week. Demarcus Robinson will be active and qualify at wide receiver. Yeah. Against a banged-up Saints secondary.
More bad news in Baltimore. Mark Andrews with a shoulder injury, not the injury from 2 weeks ago, did not practice Thursday. Barry, where does Isaiah Likely come in for you this week hearing that news? Because he filled in incredibly last week for Andrews.
Yeah, you know what? And I mean, I really like him. Isaiah Likely feels like kind of a one-for-one replacement of Mark Andrews. What I would say is that I think it's not a great match with the Saints. Saints one of the top 3 teams in the NFL in terms of fewest fantasy points allowed to opposing tight ends. But Likely, if Andrews is out, I think is a must start. I think he's a top 12 play. I think just based on his talent, he was somebody that we saw really ball out in the preseason. And then we thought, oh, this is going to be the guy. And then all of a sudden, he's just not getting on the field and they're using Josh Oliver. And you're like, what are we doing with Josh Oliver here? But I feel like, again, you're assuming rational coaching, of course, but he was so good last Thursday night that I don't think he can be denied. And so with the fact that the Ravens have a bye next week and the fact that Andrews hasn't practiced this week, if Andrews is out, to me, Likely is a must start. Having said all that, again, I just want to remind you, the fact that Andrews didn't practice yesterday on Thursday, that's in essence a Wednesday practice that he missed because they play the Monday night game. Let's see what happens today. Let's see what happens on Saturday. But certainly, Likely, we'll have more information on this on Fantasy Football Pregame on Sunday morning right here on Peacock.
The last one on the Ravens injury report that's significant fantasy-wise, Gus Edwards' hamstring did not practice Thursday. Jay, does this mean Kenyon Drake might be viable this week in fantasy?
Geez, we talk a lot about Kenyon Drake on this show.
We really do.
He pops up every other week. It's the Kenyon Drake happy hour. Yeah, I think that he is definitely the running back that you'd want for this week. Clearly, if Gus Edwards isn't ready to go, Justice Hill is around, but Kenyon Drake is the guy. And I mean, there's going to be a lot of points scored in this game. The total is around 48 right now in BetMGM, and there's just not many people on this offense outside of Lamar Jackson. So guys like Kenyon Drake, Isaiah Likely, they could have a lot of value sneakily.
Yeah, look, again, let's see what happens with Gus Edwards. He missed, in essence, a Wednesday practice here, but 7 for 62, 4 for 5, and the touchdown. There's no other Ravens running back that you feel good about if Gus Edwards misses this game. I currently have him running back 26, assuming that Gus Edwards misses. So he's a flex. He's a flex play, and in a week in which 6 teams are on a bye, including a lot of big-name running backs, I think he's viable this week against the Saints on Monday night.
We're going to take a break. When we're back, it is Flex Friday. Barry gave you a hint, Flex Friday earlier. We're talking sit, start, flex players for the weekend.
Not the kind of flexes you see on Connor's Instagram. Hey, it's Matthew Berry from NBC Sports and Rotoworld.com. Just want to thank you so much for watching what you just watched, or at least being too lazy to click out of it after the autoplay just kept it going. So either way, thank you so much for just letting it scroll by your screen. And now I'd like to ask you respectfully, please subscribe to the NFL on NBC YouTube channel for the latest NFL news, fantasy headlines from Rotoworld, and betting analysis from NBC Sports Edge.